All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here. We got one more draft on our way as we're heading to the Titan League. The big boys are out here, and we got the big boy casters in the booth here. We got Merely and Bagels are back here with us, and we also got the new man in the booth. I guess technically making his casting debut here on the Titan League draft. We got the sloth man himself, Sans Bar. Sans, welcome to the booth here.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
That sounded very forced.
So
That sounded very forced. he was holding back what he wanted to say. He wanted to say, "Screw you, Rocker Man."
It was rock.
It'll come out, don't worry.
Is what it was.
It'll happen at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, guys, we got the Titan League, and I need to move this back over and head over to the Titan League draft. As there were a bunch of interesting trades that have happened here, including myself trading for the number one overall pick in Titan. Bagels, what do you make? What do you make of that? With my now empty roster from the runner-up Pinnacle, now having to make a selection here at number one overall.
I think you fell prey to the bad GM route of not having your players re-signed. So I'd say you've done it to yourself. Didn't you re-sign all your players and they didn't react?
Well, that was a story. I misread. Well, here
It was a blunder, is what it was. I think
it was a blunder. Basically, I misread Deluxe's message. He said, "There's not a lot of time left, so I guess I'll just not resign." But I read it as, "There's not a lot of time left. I'll just resign." And Insanity was waiting on if Deluxe was going to resign. Edwin was up in the air about that, and so we let him go. And then Gabe said he wanted to resign and didn't react. So that is how we lost the defending runner-ups. And that's how my roster is empty. And well, that doesn't necessarily explain how I got the first overall pick, but we did a little finessing.
I will say you're in a decent spot. You do have more than a decent spot. You have the number one overall and the 15th. So definitely a lot of room to work with, even though you got pretty empty right there. Are you waiting to make your pick because you want me to say who's best, or?
Oh no, I was too busy looking at Ruth in the chat telling me to mod
okay.
Doodle, but Doodle's been modded for like 10 minutes. So,
Okay. I mean, there's so many people to choose from. There's also a lot of 2Ks on here that are new to the league. Well, not a lot, but we got Guh and Vela coming in as two new 2Ks along with Max, Larry, and Luca, and basically Coop, who's at 1993. And Dank up there at a hefty 1964. But honestly, Dank kind of impressed me last season. I was kind of memeing because coming up from the lower leagues, I didn't think much of him. But after playing Spartans, they were definitely a force to be reckoned with, and Dank has gotten a lot better. Bubbly's been talking him up as well. So definitely a lot of value up there, especially Deluxe and up. But definitely a lot of value down below 1900. I think Titan League overall is stacked. You can't really go wrong with whoever you pick here.
Well, the pick is in, and I'm going with Mad Max here. I traded up to get.
I had a feeling.
I traded up to get this pick, and I knew what had to be done. When you see Mad Max on there, you have to get him. So I made a little bit of a trade up there to get Mad Max. I didn't really have a pick until 15, but I made a move up there. And Sans, I'm sorry for stealing your pick 4 and 5. So.
Well, it'll be all right. Congratulations to the Soars for going first overall.
Yeah. He was hyping in the chat there. Soars number 1, but yeah. Well, he's not liking them, but regardless, Diversion is on the clock, and they are selecting. They got 2 picks back to back here, so we got some interesting stuff at the top. We have Diversion with 2 picks in a row, Godfather with 2 picks in a row. So things are getting spicy, and the reigning MVP has gone off the board, followed by Zinvez with the second one there. So, I mean, so Luca, the reigning MVP, and Zinvez are going off. What was that? 2 and 3 on the board.
That's going to be the third time they're going to be teaming together now?
Yeah,
I think so.
But honestly, you're in a good spot here. You have 4
I'm in a
and 5,
great spot.
and you have Arrow on your team already. That's kind of crazy.
The Godfathers might finally have a positive record.
Sam,
But
please, please.
Like, you need to get more than like 3 wins, I think, first, and then we can
That
talk
being
about
said,
positive record.
don't usurp the Grandmasters, but just make playoffs, please.
Oh, we're definitely going to. So
Yeah.
picks 2 and 3. I really expected Ladog to go at 3. I'm surprised it's Inves.
Yeah, I thought Luca and Ladog is a classic combo.
I also expected that Ladog there instead of Zin, but I don't know. It might have been pretty tough to fit them on there. I think you would have to go like 17-30 or like way down there if you had Luca and Ladog on the same team. So it could have been tough to make that happen. But Sands, you got back to back picks here, and you made your selection here. You go in. Why don't you tell us who you're going with for your back to back picks here?
I'm going with Dylan and Trash. So Trash I've known for a while. Dylan, I know he's a Nemesis like long timer, but I don't know him very well. Trash, he's probably the best third you're gonna find. The 2 players that are this expensive. So I think Godfather's in a great spot, and we're looking to finally win some games.
This could be the season. Hey, I was looking at some of these other drafts too, and there were like a lot of teams that I was like, they're historically bad, but I was like, dang, this season they could actually be really good. Like, well, not to toot my own horn, but Genesis, I was surprised at how things fell, and I was like, well, maybe Genesis can do something. Now Godfathers, they look like a team there that, ooh, I could be. They could definitely win some games this season. I don't think I project them going 2-16 or anything this time around, but
Right.
hopefully not.
So last season, Godfathers actually had 20 different roster changes.
My.
I think that is great. This season, we shouldn't have any.
Is that great? Is that great? I mean, I guess.
You got
Great
to
is one.
the love.
Great, great is one way to put it. Oh, that's true. He's just making sure everyone got a chance to play. It was just, yeah, the charity org there. He's letting everyone play. Respect. But yeah, I mean that could be a good roster here for sure. And then Diversion. I mean, Diversion's a team that I mean you don't see Diversion like. I mean, Diversion. There were a couple times. I think they were in the running for Western Conference champs a while ago, a couple seasons ago. But we don't really see Diversion as like a powerhouse team. But now look at them, Luca and Zinvez on the team, and if Luca can stay unbanned from the server, they could have a good roster here going in for Diversion this season. I mean, could be scary with the reigning MVP and Zinfis on the team.
Yeah, already that's a powerhouse duo to have on your roster, whoever you get as third. We were talking about it before also. I mean, getting that good first round pick is so important in Titan. You really want someone who is even more so than exceptional. You want one of the best players on your team so that the rest of your roster can kind of be molded around them. And that's a strong start already. Diversion looking hot. Godfathers, once again, looking like they might win at least 3 games this season. That's what you like to see. And Pinnacle as well with the Mad Max pick. I mean, Mad Max is someone who's very easy to build a team around.
For sure,
Why are
for
the
sure.
names so huge
Where?
on the stream? Have the names always been that big?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
They're just short
Maybe it's
names.
just because I missed. Maybe it's just because I missed half the draft.
That could do it.
You should have seen YSL's name on there.
It was moving. It was
That is of the royalty that we assume YSL is, though. He deserves to have his name that big.
okay. All right. So there we go. This is actually interesting. So we got the 3-time defending champions, 3 championships in a row in Blizzard. They traded for Mitch here, kept Toxic, kept Larry, and now they have selected Coffee with their first pick from the Kraken. So Coffee, that the participant with Mitch on the Krakens in that 18-0 season. It didn't end up in the chip, but that's what they went with. So Coffee going to Blizzard, and I mean that's interesting to see the Coffee Mitch combo. I have to wonder here, Coffee or Larry, who do you think's going to end up being the starter? I mean, I don't know. Any thoughts you guys you think might be the starter there? As Dank is also selected off the board to Inferno.
I think that's got to be coffee.
It's definitely coffee. No offense to Larry there, but I do think Larry has a little bit more to prove if he wants to be a starter in Titan, even though he's basically at 1800 MMR. I mean, Titan League regular season is one thing. You know, it's hard to be successful in the regular season, but I mean, once you get to playoffs, it's a completely different story. And if you want to cement yourself on a starting roster spot on a good team, you got to have a little bit more seasoned practice. So maybe if Larry can kind of prove himself, maybe a few opportunities in the sub role come up this season. Maybe somebody on Blizzard can't make it here or there. But definitely, as far as season 9 is concerned, I'd definitely have Larry on a starter spot. But Coffee is definitely the third, and Dank is a good person to start off there for Inferno.
Yep, I think Dank's a good person to build around. Smooth is his technically second season as GM, but his first like full run through. So I'm really curious to see like what he does.
That's true. I mean, Smooth did a good job filling in as that interim GM. So he's we got to see if he can bring it back. I mean, he got Ignite all the way to the championship there. A couple other solid teams. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens there. He has Dank going to Inferno and Ideify heading to the Bananas, which puts the Vanguard on the clock. And something some people are bringing up in chat is there are two 2100 players listed as 2K on here because of the cap there. Anyone above 2K gets listed at 2K. But Ga and Vela, 2115 for Ga, 2108 for Vela, still sitting at the top of the board here, which is surprising. So
one of them could go to Krakens because Krakens has the bare minimum with Revi at 1720. So if anybody was going to pick up one of those 2Ks, it'd probably be them.
Yeah, my guess is going to be Krakens, Nebula, and Gravity.
Reapers is empty as well.
Ooh.
If they can get to it.
They are. Do they have a pick though? Do they have a Knight situation?
There's 16 right now.
All right. Well,
they had a I think they did a Blizzard pick swap, and it did not work out for them as Blizzard won it all, and yeah, Blizzard ended up getting a decent pick up there in the lottery. So
yeah, Blizzard already the first roster actually fully filled out with that Mitch Talks Coffee Larry combo. And the rest kind of playing catch up. It is surprising. It feels like with these players, even in chat, people saying, I don't know how Go is drafted yet. I'm very curious to see who will finally draft him as Vanguard. We'll go for Deluxe here, actually.
Love Deluxe. Deluxe is a great guy. Was a great player on Pinnacle for a couple seasons in a row. Wanted to head to the draft this season, but I will vouch for Deluxe. Season 5 MVP. Good to see him go into a good place over there on Vanguard. So hopefully Deluxe. Hopefully they have a good season, solid season over there on Vanguard with looks like they got Zera and Tomer. So honestly, that could be a solid team. Deluxe, Zera, and Tomer over on Vanguard. So we'll have to see what happens there. That one.
That is a good duo to have at the top with Deluxe and Zera. And Tomer kind of along what I was talking about with Larry, except that Tomer last season actually kind of proved himself.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting much from Tomer, especially at his MMR value, but he subbed in a lot for Vanguard down the line there. He actually played in the playoff game in the quarterfinals, and they almost reverse swept. What was it? The Krakens. And Tomer was just playing absolutely outstanding for his MMR value. So I mean, Tomer still would like to see him a little bit lower in MMR value, but you know, I think they could definitely work it out there on Vanguard.
Yeah, and a couple more picks coming in through here. We got Bubs heading to the Grand Masters. There was a lot of talk about that in the Discord about Bubs wanting to go to the Grand Masters. So they have replaced Bagels with Bubs. Bagels, unfortunately, getting replaced there. He's getting a job as a sandbagger now.
But, dude, if my job is a sandbagger, then it pays real well.
Yeah. Respect. He's been negotiating. That was going on here. He's getting some salary negotiations in the middle of the draft. So yeah, congrats to you. But
I had to take care of business.
Respect. Gotta get the bag. I respect that. But Bub's going to
gotta get the sandbag.
A sandbag. Exactly. Thank you. Good. All right. And then Ga is going to Nebula there. So the 2100 off the board to Nebula to kind of they just have a knack for getting these high 2K players. I mean, you remember Duckworth and now Ga taking over there. So we will see what happens, what they can fit around Ga this season.
Sands was right.
Sands
Nebula
was
was
right.
one of the teams he said, which I actually kind of didn't agree with Sands, since Ventus is a little bit high up at 1850, but they do in fact do it. And I mean, anybody paired with Ventus is, if that could be a pretty deadly combo as well, because Ventus, when he's peaking, he can definitely be a very capable player as well. And as far as to one of the other picks with Bubs, yes, I can no longer play, so I'm non-playing. They replaced one B name with another, and Bubs is a really solid player. I'm just kind of worried more about the chemistry on the team, because I know Bubbly and Goff are very comfortable with me, and we had a very specific play style. So we'll have to see how Bubs kind of works into that. Definitely a much more mechanical player than me, which is what the Grandmasters need. Grandmasters need some flash, and they do get it in Bubs.
Respect.
I think that'll definitely be an interesting combination. Just knowing Bubbly and Goff, they're not really full try-hard players, whereas Bubs kind of is. So we'll see how that goes if things don't really go their way.
Yeah, I think those comms might be a little bit tough. They're gonna have to come up with some nicknames in terms of calling out
Bubs, Bubs and
Oh, yeah.
Bubbly. Hey, Bub, why don't you go? Both go. Double commits galore from them. That's true. That's very true.
Ladog still hasn't gotten picked yet, as we got 2 more picks in.
Yeah, we got Coop 1993 going to the Spartans there. So basically a 2K off the board. So Vella's still sitting there, actually. And then Shylin, who impressed last season, at least a little bit. They were around last season and heading to Venganza. So now that's, what is that? Shylin and Skittles on the roster for Venganza. So Titan's starting to look interesting out here. And that'll put the Krakens on the board as they try to get another repeat perfect season. Maybe get a championship this time. We will see. But I mean, impressive start. I mean, you don't see a team's first season go that well. You don't see a season go that well at all, really. 18-0. So
Insanity.
Oh, really? Insanity off the board.
Insanity.
That is interesting. So not going for Vela. But I mean, Insanity, I could talk about Insanity because he was on Pinnacle last season. A great player. I mean, him and Deluxe were a dynamic duo last season for sure. And Edwin filled in great as well. Gabe as well, who's on the draft board. Both those guys are on the draft board. Filled in well. Yeah, it's Insanity, a great guy, great player. We'll see how he does in the Krakens. I guess they're going to build around him here. So we'll see what Rogue and them have in mind.
That will give them still quite a bit of space to work with. It looks like they're going for more of like a mid-range team MMR-wise than picking up, because I don't think they'd really have enough to pick up a 2K now.
Probably not, no.
So they actually do. They just have to have a third that's pretty low. But they could be going after Insanity because he's more well-known, and there's only like 2 teams left that could take either Vela or Larry. So that still could be their move.
Yeah, I mean,
that could be true.
Those two are great players as well. Vela, Larry was on Gravity last season, solid 2K player there, and Vela, 2100. You get a pass up on a 2100 if you're an empty team like this? I don't know. I would not personally do. I guess I did for Mad Max, but that's because Mad Max.
But Mad Max.
That's Mad Max. What can I say? As I also have picked coming in here, I'm going with Denzi on this one. I was on Nebula. Apparently, he's a player for nobody. He's looking for a girlfriend, so women get at him. It's about me. But I'm drafted in the Pinnacle.
You won't find many here.
No, you will not find many here. I don't know if you'll find any here, but he's getting selected there. Mad Max told me he wanted to play with him, and I was like, all right, you've got another person on our radar as well, who hopefully will fall to us. So you wanted to go with Denzi. Denzi's a very solid player in Nebula last season, and hoping with Mad Max and Denzi, Denzi's 1883 this season. I think, I'm gonna trust him, and we'll gotta trust in Mad Max. So that's what we're gonna do. And as I say that as well, there goes Bella off the board. The Reapers could not pass up on that opportunity either. So respect
Hard
as
to
that
blame them.
closes out round one with a 2100 player going 16 on the board.
I mean, when you got literally nobody on your team and a lot of the big picks have kind of fallen already, why not? That being said, two names that have not gone off the board yet that I'm very surprised. I said one earlier in Ladog, but Heck is not been drafted yet. And, I don't know if I'm ruining anybody's picks, hoping Heck might fall later on in the draft or whatever, but Heck is easily a top 5 player in the league for me, if not top 3. So we'll have to see where, in fact, Heck does go.
Yeah, there are a lot of people on this board, and I guess that's the one thing. Some of these higher MMR players, it may be tough to get them on there. As you take one more look at the first round, a lot of names on the board that we recognize. First round going quick yet again, and great players all around. As we're going to head into round number 2, starting with Phoenix. But yeah, I mean Larry, the 2K at the top there. And then Heck, Ladog, Temp's up there as well. I mean Moifin, Caden is around. A lot of players that we recognize out here, and obviously there's some way down the list, but a lot of Titan players this season actually, which is a little bit different than maybe some other seasons. We don't really have a huge overflow in Titan, but this season there's a lot of people in Titan, and it's gonna be interesting to see who's gonna compete for these roster spots as the draft goes on for sure.
Caden at 1887 is actually really good value.
Does he still play that much though?
He stopped, and then he's kind of been on the grind as of recently. But I mean, Caden, he's kind of like Biscuit, where he's just always has a knack for getting players around him that work really well. There's definitely some mauled factor. I won't lie. There's definitely a mauled factor with Caden, but I can't deny that the man does have really good skill at the game, and his team always ends up making playoffs, and definitely is always scary on stream as well. So if they can overcome any mauled factor that may present itself, I mean, Caden is a really good player you would want on your team.
I did have Caden on my team way back in the day. Got me to a grand finals appearance. So close. One game away from winning a grand finals. That actually happened to 2 of my teams so far. Game 7 losses there for 2 of them. But Caden, good player. Very solid. He's still on the board. The next couple picks are in. And we got some throwback names. We saw Dylan. We still had Goff from way back. The Goff, your Dylan combo. They've all been drafted as yours going to Phoenix. So congratulations to your. And then also Temp has been selected as Gravity. They have back-to-back picks here in this one, and looking to make some moves here. We're gonna see who they're gonna select for the next one. But you got Temp and Scion on that roster. I think Sans, did you have Scion on your roster at one point this last season? I know you had a lot of people going through.
Scion, yes, he was on Godfathers.
Okay.
And then Temp and Scion actually played together on Sloth Elite back in TSL, so they have some chemistry there.
Okay.
And on the Reapers as well. Back when I was on the team.
Was Temp on the Reapers as well back then?
Yeah. He was. It was me.
Temp, Sally Temp. Because he's Sally Temp.
Yeah.
I do remember that now.
Yeah. Again, Temp, a very good player as well, but interesting. We'll have to wait and see who Gravity gets on the back-to-back pick here. But again, as they get Isaac, again, not 2 players I would think to pair together with Isaac and Temp, but maybe they know something I don't.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that Heck would be a good pick for this roster, filling out the MMR requirements, getting someone a little bit higher. I don't know much about Isaac. Maybe that's a player that they have previous communication with. But 2 back-to-back picks, skewing a little bit downwards. They still have 1797 to work with, but not too many options down there other than, I'd say, mostly sub at that point.
I think Bagels is going to love this next pick.
So, well, the Dragons are here, and they're selecting Vulcan with their pick on the board. Bagels has nothing to say. No reaction. No reaction to be had. He's just dead stare. Sorry, Sans, your reaction you wanted was not there.
Wait,
all
what?
1700 roster right now?
What in the world?
Wait, let's take a look at Dragons. What do they got right now? They have Burr, What? They've got Burr at 1751,
Okay,
Mayo at
Burr-
1734.
Burr is like a high 1800, low 1900 in reality. He just hasn't been playing.
Look
Although,
at that! Look at that cap room remaining right there.
That's crazy.
2181 remaining.
Oh.
You do not see that in Titan League. What is going on over there? Who's letting C Money make these draft selections for this?
C-Money.
Burr is
C Money, what are you
pretty
doing?
good. Burr is definitely very good. I'm just concerned if Burr can actually make it to a game because he didn't make like half the games last season. So if Burr can show up, he can do some good things. That being said, I'm definitely questioning the all 1700 roster comp right now.
Oh, wow.
C-Money, you might be the fastest drafter ever, but how high that ceiling of skill is may be called into question.
I don't know if drafting fast equates to good. I don't know. But we'll see. Oh, we're getting a word that they were gonna have fun this season. So
Is that allowed?
that's not allowed. You're not allowed to have fun here.
Losing is not fun though.
All 27 of my players had lots of fun last season.
It can be.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure of it here. As next pick is in for Diversion, who we were talking about. What is going to go on with Diversion here with their picks? As we kind of, we saw Diversion with 2 empty roster spots to start. They went Luca and Zinvez, and now they're selecting Jesper on this one. He's an RL player for Skyline GG, according to his banner there, whatever that is. So he's getting selected. So congratulations. I think, where does that put him there? I don't see his MMR at the moment, but.
It was like 1820 or something.
1825, yeah.
So starter material here is what we're going for, huh?
Yeah.
So
Looks like
Lucas, Zin, and Jesper?
I'm very interested to see who this pick is for Reapers because this is a pretty important pick, I think.
This is a guy that's been around for a while in Nemesis. Almost Magic Mike off the board there.
Okay.
Cool guy, been around for a while. Like the name, almost Magic Mike. You recognize the name, and there he goes, going to the Reapers this time. And that's, Bagels, Vela, and almost Magic Mike. That is something there for your former Reapers.
Yeah. Oh, Mike really got up there in MMR this season because before he was in the high 1700. And honestly, I think he played a lot better than a high 1700. So I guess that's why he's up at 1885 now. I really think Mike is the only reason that Vanguard made playoffs because I think Arrow and Zera were a little bit too inconsistent for me. So Mike is definitely somebody you want on your roster. He's a good rotational player, so I don't know anything about Vela, but again, if you make 2100, you got to be pretty dang good at the game.
A little bit.
That's a really good combination right there.
Yeah. That will be. I like Magic Mike. He was great on Vanguard last season, and we'll see what he's got for the Reapers here. As the next pick is coming in, Inferno has selected Wavy, and not the Wavy we all know, but the new Wavy here. No
New
H in
wave.
their name. The new wave. New wave of players here, including this Wavy guy. Going to Inferno, so that gives them Dank and a Wavy there, which is interesting. Interesting combination. For that team there, Sans. I don't know if you have anything to say. As Vela in chat says he's about to take over this league. So the eye emoji, respect. Hey, I love to see it. I'd love to see it out here. Got to take down Blizzard somehow.
Please.
Please. He's begging.
I don't think. That being said, I don't think Blizzard's winning the chip this season. Sorry, Mitch.
Ooh.
As I think somebody messed up the sheet. There's now a line going through Blizzard. I don't know if that's like foreshadowing that they're going to get cut in half right before the finish line or something. But
you're looking at a different sheet than I am. I'm looking at the Titan League draft sheet.
All I'm going to say is that there's a line directly through the middle.
Are you on the team sheet?
Yes.
Yeah, it's on the public player sheet.
Oh, okay. Well, they have
cut line has been cast.
Oh, someone. Oh, it's probably.
Oh, they've done it. Somebody's finally got Ladog, the bananas.
Ladog is off the board there. And you have to think Larry is probably going to the Dragons, maybe, or heck, I don't know. They got all their room, but Ladog, yeah, we figured Ladog would go at some point. Former 2K Ladog off the board. and going to the bananas with Cool Kyle on their org.
The Spartans have a decent amount of room as well. I don't know if Foam would want to team with Heck though.
That would be a team.
If Foam wanted to team with Heck, he would have drafted him first before Coop. But that's just...
You never know. Maybe he's planning on it. Hey, sometimes people just fall to you. You weren't going to get him in the first round, but like, hey, if they follow you in the second round, you got to take them.
Contingency plans.
Exactly. You got to have the backup plans. So, but with that being said, Ladog going there, and then Vanguard on the clock. They're going to go ahead and select T-Man off this one. So Vanguard, I believe, rounding out their roster with T-Man there. So I think, Sans, are those guys in your division this season?
Yes.
Vanguard? Well, I guess
Vanguard,
every
yes.
season. What do you think? What do you think of Vanguard as division rivals now that they've rounded things out with T-Man?
So that's not former Titan T-Man. That's actually former rival T-Man, T-Man 2.
T-Man 2.
T-Man 2.
I hate this.
The T-Man 2, Electric Boogaloo.
The
Yes.
2 Melks, 2 T-Mans, the 18 million different skies.
Which Bang, which Ethan. It's lots of fun.
Of course.
So I think Godfathers are looking pretty good in this division. That's all I want to say.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be more competitive than last season because, as we've all been alluding to, Godfathers were a non-factor last season, and really Grandmasters, Venganza, and Vanguard all made playoffs. So 3 of the 8 teams coming from that one division. So depending on who Venganza gets, I think it could be a 4-stack in the division because Skittles was the sub last season for Venganza. Now he's up all the way at 19-19, and Shillin is definitely no slouch either. So we'll have to see how they round it out, as Reapers are now going to select Woke.
Woke. In all caps. He's really letting us know there. Woke.
Okay.
So someone don't really recognize, not sure, but the Reapers are going with them. So Vela, Almost Magic Mike, and a Woke on the board for that 2K roster. So, excuse me, Vela, hopefully Woke is what you're looking for there is 1805. That gives him 1728 remaining. So room to pop one of those subs. There are a lot of subs near that lower boundary, which I know is, maybe enticing some of these teams to go get those high 2K players and, build around it. When you have those low players you can fit on a fourth, it leaves you a lot of options there. So they're going to get Woke and leave themselves a little bit of room to get a sub on there.
Yeah, I think, once again, the only player I've actually seen on this roster is Magic Mike. I remember him being solid for his MMR at the time, and he has boosted since then to a higher, well, not gone boosted, but he's jumped up in MMR.
He's boosted.
But as a 2100 player, it's really going to be on Magic Mike and Woke to play around him, especially since Vela. Sometimes with the high MMR players, I feel like there's the chance where they just kind of signed up on a whim and they don't really care about the league too much. But Vela seems like they have ambitions to rise up in this league, and if they can have the support of Magic Mike and Woke, then I could see that happening. I could see them doing some real damage.
Yeah, and something I will say about these IRMR players, I feel like this season we got a lot of like those high 1950 plus players that are really, really good this season. I feel like there's almost one on like every roster. If you look at all these rosters, there's someone like that is a really good high 1900 2K plus player this season. I know maybe Bagels you can attest, but it seems like we're finding more and more of those players to get on rosters in Nemesis.
Yeah, the more we grow, the more people are gonna want to come join this draft league here, and definitely again, in Titan League, you just want to see things as competitive as possible. Which now that the division has been made on Blizzard, I think it's kind of going to be up for grabs here for the championship. And again, like I said, just looking at the Mountain Division, all 4 teams in there look like they could be very competitive as well. And we'll have to wait and see how the rest of the rosters get rounded out. But yeah, there's a lot of good 1900s at the moment. I think the most important value to get is kind of between that 1800 to 1850 range, which is where I feel like there's a lot less players in that range.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you can maybe steal a pick in that range, or even get somebody that's like at 1770 that's really punching above their weight, and I think that's kind of where you can like make or break the draft for me.
That's fair. That's fair right there. Is we got 3 picks coming in back to back to back. So we talked a little bit about Woke, but Nebula is coming in and selected Twan. I used to call him T1, but apparently it's Twan. And then,
Yeah, it's not T1.
hey, it could have been
T1.
T1. It could have been T1.
It's definitely
Twan.
Twan.
It just sounds like, I don't know. It sounds like you're flicking something like a Twan. I don't know. Twan. I don't know. But
T1.
you get Twan there. Go to Nebula. You get Devin. I don't recognize this Devin. Where does that put him on Spartans? Going to the foam.
Team 21.
Oh.
Okay. So yeah, not
The
too.
foam opting not to play with Heck.
Yeah, interesting. So Devin, 1921 to go in there, and now Venganza picking up Dez here, who's looking for a team for CRL. So someone signed the man. I think you have to be in a college for that. So hopefully, so say you could be looking for a team
Apply for a
CRL. I don't know if you could do that, but if you can, respect. He's trying to get known, understandable. But he's going to Venganza there. So it's gonna be a third on their roster. So pretty much the rosters here as we're rounding out round 2. We're looking like pretty much 3 people on almost every roster. So a lot of starting rosters have been, gathered and acquired here. Now that we're kind of finishing things up in round 2.
Yeah, I think the next pick is actually going to be really interesting for me as well, as these picks are getting rounded out as Krakens. I'm going to see who they're going to pair with Insanity, which looks like we're about to see in a half a second here.
It's luxury.
That is not who I thought they were going to pick at all.
Who did you think they were going to pick there? As they go with luxury,
Okay.
it's interesting.
Just not luxury. Not that I like luxury. I like playing with him. I think I've only played with him a few times in ranked or something, but definitely not who I was thinking they were going to pick up.
Well, luxury has been around in Nemesis. So has Insanity. So I don't know. I know Critter's doing the drafting. No hate on Critter, but going for some known names here for sure. I mean, it sometimes doesn't hurt to go for the known quantities there. And maybe this is part of their plan there. So luxury and insanity. Maybe they have some chemistry together. As let's go with Pinnacle on the clock. And thankfully for us, I thought this was going to be a smooth draft for Pinnacle. I feel like these people were under the radar, and I'm happy because they did fly under the radar. And I'm going to go ahead and select Auntie here, who formerly was on Diversion. I have recognized the name from a while back. I believe that's the same Auntie. But again, Mad Max wanted Denzi and Auntie, said that, at least, of the choices that we had. So I'm gonna go with Auntie, and I'm expecting big things here from my boys. I mean, Pinnacle, gotta get when I saw Mad Max as an opportunity, the number 1 pick kind of fell into my lap in a trade offer. I was like, I gotta take it, and this is what we're going with: Mad Max, Denzi, and Auntie. So Denzi and Auntie got a bit to prove, I think, in Nemesis, but I think if Mad Max trusts in them, I can definitely trust in them as well. So see what happens.
So something interesting I've just noticed. If you do the math, there's only one team that can fit either Larry or Heck, and that's Dragons. So that means at least one of them is going undrafted.
Oof.
Oh.
I don't think Dragons are drafting either of them. I'm gonna be honest.
I don't either.
Yeah, with the way it's gone, I think the Dragons might be picking up Crip here.
Let's not get crazy.
That's a bold pick right there.
Well, I'm just following the trend of the low 17, or I guess that's mid 1700s, but
Yo, somebody needs to pick up Fishy though. I thought Rockerman was gonna do it, but he went with Auntie instead. But Fishy is definitely, like I was saying earlier, one of those players that's at 1770 that realistically he can play up to like a high 1800. So I'm surprised nobody's picked up my boy Fishy.
Sure. You think Fishy and Edwin both, they're right there in the middle at the 1772, 1771. I mean, people in Nemesis for a while. I mean, Zap's up there as well, who played great in Rival League last season. There's a couple of guys you could see around that, mid to high 1700 range that could be making their way on our roster potentially. You would have to think, but
I'd be surprised if they don't end up getting drafted one way or another. There's still plenty of 4th spots left on teams, and even one 3 spot left.
I know the ideal roster for Grandmasters. I know Bubs did get drafted, but the ideal roster was Heck and Fishy if they could have fit it. But those numbers definitely didn't work out. or if for whatever reason I came back playing, it was going to be Heck playing and me as sub, because that was our United Rogue team. As now, yes, one of my favorite names in Titan League has been redrafted. We got 10-piece Nugget, baby. We got another food name. And 10-piece Nugget, he showed up on stream last season. He was putting up some numbers.
I think that's who that is. Their name was Nuggy on the sheets, but I think it's 10-piece Nugget there. So I'm
having flashbacks. Was that the guy we were? I don't want to say harassed, but we got an answer about Wendy's or McDonald's.
Yeah.
There you go. And that's gonna round out round 2 here. Sans, I want to throw it to you again here. What do you make of round 2? I mean, there's quite a few teams that actually had 2 selections in this round. Inferno, Reapers, Gravity, all had 2 selections in this round. A lot of interesting names off the board here. Any surprises?
I'm more surprised at the players that are left, honestly. There's not a lot of room left for some pretty big names. I think T-Man was a surprise. And yeah, I'm just really curious to see how this season goes with things looking the way they are.
It will be interesting. I will agree with that. As let's move on to round 3. We're getting down to it. There's actually round 3. It's pretty full. We're only missing 4 picks in this round of full rosters, and then in round 4, there's only 2 picks in round 4. So pretty much round 3, and then two more left to go here. As Sans is being harassed by his daughter in his ear. Nice. You love to see it, making the cast debut, and that's what happens. That's what happens when you have kids, I guess. But there we go. One of the names, Bagels, that I was referencing is off the board. Another former Pinnacle player is gone. It is Edwin going to Inferno. And does that quite round out their roster now? It does. They got Dank, Wavy, Nuggy, and Edwin. That is a very interesting combination of players to put together.
That is. I mean, I don't know anything about this Wavy, but if he even has half the talent as the other Wavy, which I hope he does at 1882, I mean, with 10-piece Nugget paired with Dank, I mean, that could be kind of a dark horse candidate for maybe the 7th, 8th seed, maybe even into the 9th, 10th seed spot, because I'm just remembering that the play-in tournament is a thing again in Titan. Because realistically, I think that Atlantic division is kind of up for grabs. I think Blizzard is still the favorite to win that one. But I don't think it's as secure as they think it might be, because a lot of those other rosters are kind of not as strong as I thought they might be.
Also, I'm getting a word of a possible breaking trade if this thing goes through. Banana's receiving Insanity. Kraken's receiving Ladog and a Season 9 second.
Oh.
So things could be moving around there a little bit. We'll see if it actually gets approved by both teams, but at least was thrown in there as a possibility. So could be some shakeups there for the Krakens and the Bananas. So spicy there as the Godfather is making another selection. And Sans, you guys are selecting Boy Wonder on this one. Want to give us some thoughts, and hopefully your daughter's not yelling in your ear anymore?
She is, but it's okay.
He'll survive.
So as soon as Insanity came off the board, I got a DM from Upset Bananas. So I knew this was coming. But they've been playing together for a while, and apparently it's going pretty well.
What do you think about your pick to get Boy Wonder? What was your thought process there in getting him?
Boy Wonder, he already subs for a sloth team outside of Nemesis, so it's just a no-brainer. Super sub Boy Wonder.
Super sub. There you go. He's making his move over there to the Sloths, and the Godfather's there with that roster. So Sans roster rounded out with Arrow, Dylan, Eye Trash, and Boy Wonder. So that'll be interesting to see. As the Dragons are on the clock, and now this is the spicy pick we've been waiting for.
Oh boy!
I don't think anyone is ready for what's about to happen.
You have an idea?
Please brace yourselves. No, it's going to be Rockerman's favorite former teammate, actually.
Oh gosh.
No way.
Oh, is it Krippus?
No way.
He did not play with Krippus.
Even better.
Oh wait, that was merely that played with.
We will see. Or we're
I'm not
getting
going to spoil it, but this is actually a starter. Burr's going to be the sub for this roster.
Oh
What?
my god.
Oh my god. I
So
hope
I'm
they
pretty
I hope
close
they
with-
have fun losing.
Incoming Dragons 0-18. I'm calling
This looks
it
like
now.
So we'll have to crack some
I'm-
skulls over here.
Very curious.
See, Bubbly Bagels and Goff was the meme team that actually had a chance at winning.
Yeah, this is
This
just
is
troll.
just a meme team.
I think this team's going to go 3-15.
No shot, dude.
Oh my goodness. Well, this has happened, and I think it's a little bit disrespectful, if you ask me, with the way
Oh
what they're
my
doing.
God.
But they have went and selected Green Glow on their roster. I think it's a little bit disrespectful what they've done here in the Titan League, to be completely honest with you.
This is a rival team.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's all I'll say is that I think it's a little bit disrespectful. But hey, to each their own, I guess. They can draft their team.
Someone needs to make sure C-Money's not driving anywhere tonight.
That's true. That is very true. As they have done that. 450 cap room remaining.
Is that a record?
Absolutely.
Well, there have been some teams that
There's no way it's not.
I think in some previous seasons there was a lot of overflow cap room before we had more things refined. I think in novice there was close to that much, if not more. But regardless, let's carry on. As Diversion has gone and selected Joe, as in Joe Mama.
Another just classic name.
Yo.
I love the casual first names.
There was Michael earlier, and now we just got Joe.
Yeah, there's also
Joe and Luca on the same team.
Joe and Luca.
Where they should have got Josh. What are they doing?
There's a Christian on there.
Larry, Luca, Joe, Josh.
Technically, Gabe is he's just missing
Gabe?
the A.
True. Throw the A in there, and then you got him. So, well, interesting. Interesting move. What does that put him at? What does that put Diversion at now? As we're kind of what's that roster looking like?
Quite a bit of a difference. It looks pretty good. Lucan's in once again. We've talked about him a lot. Won't harp on it too much, but it could definitely pop off. Jesper, I haven't really seen play yet, but if he can just vibe with Luca and Zin, I mean, they definitely have a chance to be contenders. Championship winning with Luca on the roster, you can never quite count them out. But yeah, they're looking solid right now.
It looks like a pretty free division, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
What is that? We got Dragons tanking. You get Spartans who have got some relatively unknowns with foam. Coop and Devin. I think Coop was around last season, but Devin knew. And then Gravity, Temp, Isaac, and Scion. So who knows what they can bring? But yeah, you might be right. Diversion could be back and be in the top of something over there in the West.
Diversion's never made playoffs, so they were real close one season. They were one game away, and I think they lost by 1 goal or something. As I had a feeling this pick was going to come out.
I'm sad. I'm so sad.
I didn't think about this until now, looking at the list, but this is who I thought they were going to pick, and Gabe is going to go to the Grandmaster.
I was hoping he was going to fall back to me. The man didn't resign, but
two B's and 2 G's.
He did me like that. As Paper, we didn't talk about Paper, but Paper's going to the Reapers there to round things out with Vela, Almost Magic Mike, Woke, and then Grandmasters getting Gabe, who wanted to resign with Pinnacle, didn't react, and now he has fallen to the Grandmasters. So I'm gonna have to do some thinking about my sub. I was just hoping, I was praying he was gonna come back, but respect. Gabe and Goff, both ISU boys, I think. So got some chemistry there. Good guy, Gabe. Love Gabe. Filled in very nicely for Pinnacle last season. We pretty much Gabe and Edwin were swapping off for a lot of the time. So Gabe, he's a quality Titan player, even at 1732. So I respect the heck out of that pick. Oh, and opposite, I sniped him from him last season. Well,
and speaking of
heck.
Speaking of heck, surprising to see him still up there on the board. I mean, I really thought he was going to get drafted earlier. He has to make his way into the season somehow, even if he somehow doesn't get drafted, right? Like, there's no way
I think
you
something's
pass
gonna
up on
happen.
that.
Something's gonna happen with that Kraken's roster because Rockerman already said the trade's gonna come out and Ladog's gonna go to Kraken's. Maybe if Ladog and Heck get on a team together, I mean that could be pretty dangerous. Actually, they would have to drop luxury to do so. I think because I think it would be too much
they would.
MMR. But I don't know. I mean, again, like we kind of say, things shift the day of the draft, the days after the draft, the first 2 weeks of the season. People are going to get dropped, so things are going to get all kinds of topsy turvy. But yeah, Heck is top 3 player for me.
That's some bold statement. He's still sitting up there alongside Larry at 2K, which is very surprising. I mean, you don't see 2Ks sit at the top of the board too often. And Larry played last season, so I'm very surprised.
I think this has happened in previous seasons because sometimes it's just such a commitment, to draft a 2K MMR player. If you don't like have a solid plan with them, it can be difficult to try and force it, and probably not a good idea to be honest. But yeah, still surprising that no one's tried to work around.
Yeah, we will see as the Bananas have selected Kuko here for their pick, and I think that's going to run out their roster. So Ideify, Ladog, Bravo, and Kuko on the board for them. So 21 capper remaining. So they're working a little bit, and they got that pick in. So we'll see what the Bananas can do out there as Nebula has come through, and they've selected Zap on the board, a great player last season on Distortion. And now he's heading to Nebula to the Space Jam org.
Former teammates Ventus and Zap way back in season 1, actually.
Oh my goodness!
I'm assuming that Zap is definitely going to be the sub, so probably not too much playing time between the two of them. But yeah, going back to that other pick with Kuko, if that trade with Bananas does go through and they do get Insanity, I don't know too much about Ideify, but Ideify is a decent 1900. You get Insanity on that roster with Bravo. That's I would definitely say that Bananas definitely be front runners along with Blizzard there.
What to see is the next couple of picks have come in. Spartans have gone and selected Crippist off the board there. So there they go. The man himself, the streamer who's been helping us out here. Shout out to Crippist.
Congratulations.
He is now a Spartan there, as looking like to be the sub, but he is going to make it onto a roster there. So you got Coop, Devin, Foam, and Crippist on the team. That's a combo, Crippist and Foam. Obviously maybe not playing all the time, but a combination.
A deadly combination.
Think so? You like a deadly combination over there?
Oh yeah.
Respect.
I know so. And honestly, Crip is pretty wholesome these days. It's mainly just foam.
Yeah.
I do love foam, but that man does have a way about him, I will say.
Foam moments. But yeah, we're down to it, guys. We've only got 5 picks remaining in this draft here. Still some great players on the board. We got Venganza, Gravity, Pinnacle, Phoenix, and Krakens yet to pick, and the Venganza pick is in. And another pick of mine has been sniped, as I was going to draft this guy. And his Crafty Damus goes off the board, and he's heading to Venganza as possibly the sub there. 1747 remaining. They select him down there at 1722, so going down just a little bit, and only 2 before my pick, so I'm a little sad now, but
pick up Little Rob.
We just have to. I did actually recruit that guy into the league, so but let's see what Gravity does. Let's see what Gravity does first.
I will say for the one good thing the Dragons could do with their power here of the all 1700 team, if you're like a sub in the tie-in league at 1700 and you kind of just want to play to get more experience, just ask to get traded to the Dragons. I mean, they have all 1700s already. I don't know if all of them are fine with losing every game of the season, if that's what the consensus was on that roster.
Oh, they've done
it. If you want a chance of playtime, then go ahead. Oh, they did. Let's go.
Fishy's off the board to Gravity there. You had to think he was going to get off the board. I mean, you can't have a season without Fishy on the list there. So Fishy makes his way in there, and congrats to Fishy. I'll make it on a roster. So
See, I actually don't know who would start between Scion and Fishy because Scion is pretty decent, and he was the sub for the Reapers back when I was playing.
Scion lately, definitely Scion. He's been insane lately.
Fishy doesn't play the game, but I did play a tournament with him last week or even a week and a half ago, and he still got it. He can unwash himself very quickly, unlike myself.
yeah, he's taking his time.
Fishy is still a very solid player, and depending on if that Gravity roster ends up staying together, if roster moves get made, Fishy could even be a starter.
That's fair. I mean, I could definitely see that as Pinnacle. We're making our final pick of the draft. I got to get this guy that I recruited, Luro Betu. I was going to leave him in case some other team wanted him because I wanted to get Gabe at first just because I can rely on Gabe. But I think I'm pretty sure I recruited this guy into the league way back when. So that'll give us 0 cap room remaining. We're making the most of it, as you should.
Perfection.
Yes. So there we go. That means I did a perfect draft, right? Because I have 0 cap room remaining.
Sure.
Sure. We'll go with that.
For the sake of keeping my AGM position. Yes.
Respect. Understandable. But there we go, guys. That's round number 3 on the board. I mean, looking at round 3, I think I've known every name on this list except maybe Joe. Maybe Kuko is a slight little bit of unknown, but look at that. Those are all relatively well-known Nemesis names, all going round number 3 on the board here.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely some that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's true. That is very true. But that's going to round it out there for round 3. We've only got 2 more picks left in the draft in round 4. So we're heading to round 4, but this is it. 2 picks left. We've got Phoenix and we got Krakens. So let's take a look. What is Phoenix going to do here with their picks? They got Xenix, who I believe stands out as a trade from your org, right?
Yes. Arrow came to me. He wanted to play. And I was like, I can't do that to Xenix. He's like the nicest guy I've ever met, which is really rare for the Titan League. So that was a condition, is if I got him traded somewhere where he could play.
Nice. Well, that is very nice of you to get him onto a roster. So Xenix, you're Miles, and now they're selecting G Games 14, who I believe was active, or at least a little bit active. I recognize the name for sure. So active there and going to get on the roster as the last player on the list. So
also, there's some very wholesome people in Titan League. I don't know what you're talking about.
Xenix has no ego whatsoever.
Most wholesome roster ever on Grandmasters. Bagels, Bubbly, and Goff?
Especially now that you're not on it.
Whoa. Wait. You're saying it's more wholesome with Bubs? That doesn't make any sense.
Please forgive me. You're right.
Oh, and the Krakens are coming in with the last pick of the draft, and oh boy, you might not have expected this one, but they're going ahead and selecting Caden off the board to the Krakens at the very end.
Wow. The NMR value, that's the smartest thing they could have done.
Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, Caden 1887 there.
Will Caden show up and play? That's another story.
Yeah.
I think Caden and Insanity with Luxury is actually a really good trio, but the question is if Insanity wants to get traded to Bananas, that's going to kind of throw a wrench in things.
Yeah, Ladog and Caden, how would that go?
Awful.
Well, looks like the trade has already been approved, although by a GM and an AGM, so it could be reversed. But it looks like Ladog and Insanity are going to be swapping, so it's going to be Ladog, Caden, and Luxury if those MR values work out correctly.
They definitely do, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe
I think so.
They might sign Heck, but I don't know. Looks like somebody's just going to have to wait for some sort of roster move because, I mean, the fact that Heck is undrafted right now is pretty wild. I mean, I don't think that many people know him besides, like, people that are kind of in that friend circle. But like I said, Heck is definitely a top 3 player in the league for me. I'd go, like, Max, Heck, and I don't really know who else. I'd probably throw Deluxe in there, too. Like, Deluxe Luca for, like, top 4, top 5.
Mad Max die?
I said Max.
Oh, okay.
What?
Sorry.
Yeah,
I wasn't listening. To be completely honest with you, I just wanted to.
Wow.
I only heard the very
Yeah.
end, so I just want to start some beef, real quick as we end things off. I was thinking about the next thing I had to say, which is I had to remind these draftees who didn't get drafted that just stay active. I've said it all the times, every draft, but again, just stay active. Like Bagel was saying, there's got to be some roster moves that are going to be made. I mean, there's trades happening, drops and ads going down already, so I'm sure there's going to be some moves being made, and there's still, I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen before the season starts? I mean, we've got a week. I'm sure by the time opening day comes around, there's going to be a lot of transactions made in all the leagues. So if you didn't get drafted, fear not. Just stay active. I'm sure there'll be a shot for you at some point throughout the season. So yeah, but let's go around. Let's go around one more time and get some final thoughts on Titan, and then maybe we can wrap up the drafts as a whole here as we head into season 8. Now rosters all filled out here. So merely, let's start with you. Let's talk about Titan first, and then we'll go back around one more time for the full league. So what do you think? What do you think about Titan now? We're done.
I think this would have to be the least expected. Well, not least expected, but probably the most chaotic Titan draft I've ever been a part of or gotten to witness. With some very exceptional decisions being made, for which we will not necessarily name. But the Dragons roster, question mark, big one. Other than that, I think there's a lot of solid teams. I think a lot of really good rosters put together here. Pinnacle runner-ups last season, now getting Mad Max on there, the guy they lost to. And if Mad Max builds a team, I'm going to trust that team has potential to do well. Looking at Vela, love to see the motivation of someone coming in at 2K with the skill to prove it, I'm sure. And even other than that, Diversion getting a chance at playoffs is going to be huge this season, as they might. I would expect them to crack that record that they've never broken for themselves previously. And even other than that, there are a few other teams that I think could be dark horses that could really make some surprising runs. Grandmasters there. I mean, Bagels, you guys made it pretty far last season. I think that what you guys were missing was just that mechanical ability last season. Not to say that you were a bad team. I think you had potential to win against almost every team in the league. But with Bubs on there now, as long as the synergy and comms works out with Bubs and there's no tilt factor, I think they could perform well. But overall, I'm really excited to see how this plays out.
Bagels, Resident player. What are you taking out of this? Out of these teams that now we see in Titan League?
As far as the Grandmasters are concerned, I do agree with Merely. Definitely a synergy and chemistry factor because Bubs has definitely got some of the best mechanics in the league. But yeah, I mean, going back to what I was saying earlier, the Mountain Division is definitely going to be the most competitive division out of any of these in the Western Conference there. So, but teams that I'm kind of looking at is basically anybody in that Mountain Division, Diversion, Pinnacle, and along with Blizzard and Bananas, I feel like those are kind of my teams to watch. I guess my another team to watch is the Dragons to see what their goal differential is like.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of different teams that may have a shot here. This might be the most kind of who knows in Titan League. But Sans, what do you think now? I know you finally got your possibly great team here in the Godfathers. What do you think about the Titan League as a whole here?
I think this is going to be by far the most competitive season of Titan since I've been in the league. There's no obvious winner, and the Titan League is just stacked. It's looking really good.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that. Like I said at the beginning there are a lot of people there is almost, you can almost look at every one of these teams and be like, that is a star player on their team. Like that is a great player. Like if you look at just the Central Division, there's a 2K on every roster in the Central Division. There you have Mad Max, Vela, Xenix, and Ga. That is a battle right there in the Central Division for sure. And I mean, there's players all around the league as well that have just pop off potential. Some of them that obviously aren't 2K, but you're like, wow, that is a really good player. And yeah, Titan's going to be crazy here. So let's go around one more time, maybe summarize the drafts as a whole, maybe what we're expecting heading into season 8, which is our biggest season ever. We got 6 leagues going down. Merely, again, I'll start with you here. What are you expecting now that we've concluded all these drafts? The rosters are set. We got just a little over a week until opening day. What are you thinking here?
Absolute chaos. What I enjoyed most about this draft, even before it happened, was I looked at the player sheets and I saw like there were so many empty teams on each in each division, in each league, I should say. And I think that's really healthy for the league because now we get to see how teams rebuild. Like we won't have just a repeat of the Blizzard team from last time. We're not going to have repeats of a lot of championship teams, and we're going to get to see how those GMs adapt and how the players adapt in the league to fight for those top spots once again. There's definitely a lot of competition each of these seasons. I think the MMR boundaries as a whole have kind of reshaped how things are going to play out, and I think it's going to be very enjoyable to watch. I'm really just excited to get started with season 8 now.
Heck yeah, we're almost there. We're almost there. Bagels, what are your big takeaways from all these drafts, and what are you expecting heading into our biggest season yet? It just keeps getting bigger. We're heading into 6 leagues, and yeah, lots to be determined. What are you thinking here?
Like I always say at the end of every season, the following season just ends up getting better and better and more competitive, which every season that passes. So I'm expecting more of the same here. I'm also waiting for the next player that's going to be called against smurfing allegations in provisional league, since that's the new league. I'm waiting for the guy that's going to get like a flip reset double tap and like carry the team, and then there's going to be a witch hunt for him. So I'm just waiting to see whoever that player is. But other than that, just looking to, like Merely said, get the season started underway. And I don't really know what my casting availability is going to be like with my new job, but I'm definitely going to be excited to cast a lot of these new players that might have a chance to get the name for themselves and be more of a household name in Nemesis, because we got a lot of new people this season.
Yeah, that's true. There are a lot of new people, and they're making it on rosters. So yeah, I'm sure there'll be some new names to watch out for in all these leagues. 6 leagues now, so a lot of people there. Sans, any final thoughts here on the drafts as a whole heading into season 8?
So it's funny you bring that up. Normally, me and Biscuit sit in like together for the draft, but this time it was me, C-Dubs, and Smeg all together. And they're like, "What do we do for Rival?" And I was like, "I'm not gonna lie, I don't know any of these people. They're all new." And that's just great for the league. We gained over 100 new players that have never been here before.
Something like that. There's a lot. There's a lot of new people that have joined this season. We're at 418 right now. We ended the last season at 500, and we're already at 418 before the season has even started. So, yeah, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy for sure. But yeah, for me, like Bagels said, it's just these teams just seem to they just keep getting more and more competitive. The leagues get more and more competitive. I mean, I'm looking at. I liked pretty much every one of my drafts that I had here, and I'm sure a lot of other GMs feel the same way. It's always that good feeling. The start of the season, you're like, wow, we really got the team we wanted, and then, well, down the line, then you'll get disappointed, but or you'll win, or you'll win. But it's gonna be crazy. There's a lot of new faces. I'm excited. It's good to have everyone back that's returned from last season. It's good to have all the staff teams back. I gotta wrap up. Before we head off, I gotta thank a lot of people here because the drafts are not easy. There is a lot of people that put in the work. So first, I'm gonna shout out the mod team. There's a lot of different people that helped out here. I know Doodle, Lush, Mayo, Valence, Ruth. We're huge helps here. Let me make sure I don't miss anybody here off the team. The other managers have definitely helped as well. Critter, Rogue, Squirrel, Smeg, Speed is on there as well. Mitch. Hopefully I don't miss anyone. Gonna butcher it. Sans as well, helping out. Psycho, who also casted. Psycho who also casted. Making sure I got everyone. I was gonna thank you for the casters as well.
And Jake.
Yeah. And who?
Jake.
Jake, yeah. Did Jake do something there?
He did a lot.
He said, "Whoever forget about Jake, respect Jake." But yeah, thanks to all the mods that helped doing stuff behind the scenes. Huge shout out to Crippist. for streaming both these drafts today. Is a long drafts here, but he put in the work behind the scenes, to help out and make sure things are running smoothly. So shout out to Krippus for putting that work, and shout out to everyone else who casted. Psycho casted, Bagels. You were here for all of them, so appreciate you. Jaegers, who's not here tonight. I rose up Penguin making their debuts. Shout out to those guys. And then Charles came back and helped, and obviously merely sent up all the commentators doing his commentating thing back here as well. So appreciate everyone putting this stuff together. The drafts are never easy. There's a lot that goes into it, but now they're done. We got the season. We got the season to look forward to, which I know everyone's hyped about. It's finally back. We've been waiting. We've been waiting this off season. We kind of got a concrete schedule in, so it's about that time. Teams are going to get playing. Things are going to go, and so. Yeah, I think that's about it. So appreciate everyone. Make sure you guys follow the channel if you haven't already. We are going to be back. When are we going to be back? That is the next big question. Well, opening day is November 9th, or November 7th, excuse me. November 7th, that is a Monday. So that's not this next Monday, but the Monday after is when opening day is, and then there may be a tournament or two before then. But for now, get some games in with your rosters, have some fun, and yeah, that's about it. Make sure you guys stay active in the Discord, follow the channel, and that's about all the spiel I got. Go buy some merch. Nemesis merch. The link is somewhere in the chat. I'm sure we can do exclamation point merch, and you can get some merch. There'll be some more merch coming to the store. Some merch. We love merch, so go buy some. But yeah, that's it. That's it, everyone. we got to sell it. You think that sold it, guys?
Just keep saying merch. It'll work.
Go get some merch. Yeah, there we go. We got exclamation point merch in the chat. You can go pick up your Nemesis merch at merch.nemesisleague.com. There you go. There you go. Never merch league. So there we go. That's like one of those things. You just repeat it enough times, it'll get in someone's head. And they'll be thinking about it.
Where is the disconnect button?
Well, it's somewhere. Well, that's it, everyone. I'll let everyone go now. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll be back for opening day, maybe sooner. Stay tuned. And have a good night, everyone. Talk to you later.
See ya.